what I've shot in the last month and a half, maybe 2 months. Um, the one box I don't have is because I actually gave those to somebody else. Um, at the range, we were just shooting, and we shot up the whole box, and I never went and got the box back for this video. But that one is like AAC or whatever by Palmetto. Um, Absolute trash rounds. These, everybody knows what these are. These are the Wolf or Telamo, same company. 9mm Luger, so 9x19mm steel cased rounds. These are terrible. So the specific box, if you look up this lot number Z441-21, was made May 24th, 1994. This was rejected by the Russian government and sold off to the U.S. as surplus ammo. Now, it says performance ammunition on here. Let me tell you, don't get this stuff. Failures to feed. I didn't have any light primer strikes, but failures to feed on every 9mm I had, whether it be from the Sky or the Taurus. No, I didn't shoot any of this out the Taurus. Or the SD9. The SD9, the Sky's a little bit more picky, but the SD9 doesn't care what you put in it. It will chew through almost everything. It had issues with this. And it was mostly in getting me, not failure to eject, but failure to feed. So essentially what would happen is they would get stuck on the feed ramp. And steel, not super great. Okay, steel is a harder metal than what most of my firearms are made out of. So it's really hard on the extractor. It's really hard on the barrel. It's hard on all of it. Well, not the barrel. I mean the front part. I forget what they call that, but like the space in between where the case sits and the part of the barrel where the projectile actually travels down. Scratches it up a bit. So, needless to say, unless you have an AK, don't get anything from Telamo or Wolf. They're the same company. Cellier and Bellet. Heard a lot of bad things about these guys, but this one is the 45 Auto. I fired this out of both my High Point 45 and my 1911 with no issues. The 1911 from High Standard with no issues. None at all. No failures to feed, no light primer strikes or misfires, failures to eject, any of that. All 50 rounds of this got fired flawlessly. Well, except for the friend of mine who decided to. I preloaded the mags and put them right next to where each weapon for the magazine was. And he tried to load a 45 into a 40 caliber chamber, but he's a beginner. I should have been paying closer attention. So I had two friends with me. I was trying to work with both of them. They wanted to go. So that kind of happened. Blazer. This is the aluminum cased 9mm. Fired amazing. No problem. And so much lighter. I brought the brass case too, Blazer. This is for the 45. And I bought some brass cased or aluminum cased 9mm. No problem with it. All of this aluminum is actually really soft, so it's not going to hurt your barrel really, or any part of your weapon, extractor or anything. Brass was great. Aluminum was great. All these fired. No misfires. Had no issues with them. Okay. Remington UMC. This is the 40 caliber that I had. Fired all 50 rounds, no problem. I fired a lot of Remington rounds in my life and never had a problem. No failures to feed, failure to extract, anything, light primer strikes, nothing. Um, this is trying to get the next one I want to talk about. Should have done better with getting these correct, but see, Winchester White Box. This is the 223 Remington. This was all right. I remember Winchester White Box when, like, before COVID, you would get a box of 9mm for like $11, and it would be fine. A lot of people talk bad about these, but I didn't have any issues. So these are these are the 223 Remingtons. Fired about 32 or 3,240 feet per second. That is quick. And this 5.56 fires at about 3,120 feet per second, so it's got 120 feet per second faster. These 223s, which makes sense because you're firing just a little bit lighter of a projectile. Now, the common mistake people make is if you have a 5.56, you can fire a 223, which is true. But then people go, oh, well, they're the same size. So if I have a 223 chambered, I can fire a 5.56. No. I mean, yes, but you shouldn't. Reason being is because these create a lot more pressure in the barrel than these do. And if your barrel is not rated for it, you should not do it, right? Now, it's obvious when firing my AR. Should be pretty obvious which one I prefer. I prefer the PMC over the Winchester. And even on the PMC box, it gives you what you're going to be, what your trajectory is going to be at certain distances. So if you have to adjust for wind or height or anything, it tells you in the box. Okay? Because rounds don't fire straight. There is a trajectory. They do tend to kind of come out of the barrel a little bit like this, even off, dip. They do. Anybody who has any experiences with firearms knows this. They don't fire straight. Also, can you idiots that are on YouTube firing your weapons off in the air in the city limits or really anywhere in public, can y'all stop? Because rounds also do this. They go up, and then they go, they're going to come down on somebody. Stop doing that. Okay. Now, this is Magtech. This is 45 auto. $9mm Luger. I didn't really have any problems with the 45, and that went through my 1911. I don't think I put any of these through the high point. That went through the 1911. Went perfectly fine. Now, I don't know if this is the difference between the 1911 when I was firing, because 1911s are pretty high quality, most of them. And the SD9V that I carry daily is, the V stands for Value Enhanced. So they cut some corners to, make it a little bit cheaper and still be pretty dependable. This 9mm, I had out of both my SD9 and my Taurus, and my Sky for that matter, the CPX2. I had failures to eject a lot with these, and double feeds. Double feeds happened a lot with these. I don't know. I haven't fully made my mind up. I mean, that's only 150 rounds through it. I would need to probably go to the range and fire a little bit more of those. But we seem to be happening quite often with that. So that I wanted to make note of that. Um, so that's what I fired in the last month and a half, 2 months at most. That's a lot of rounds. It's 50, 150, 250, 350, 50, 450, 550, 550. That's about 650 rounds in the last 2 months. Um, and so that's what I think about those. So with and so um, what I'm doing now with these, an interesting little fact here. Those Winchester white box, both 55 grain projectiles. Um, that one has a 3,240 foot pounds of energy, muzzle velocity. These are the PMC's version of it, and they have 2,900 foot pounds of pressure, and or feet per second, right? Not foot pounds, feet per second. That's the muzzle velocity. So I'm wondering why these are a little bit lower. Maybe they have a little bit less gunpowder in them or something. I don't know. Same size projectile, but I trust PMC. And honestly, moving that fast, your target's not going to like it anyway. So hopefully they never have to be used. I'm just saying that if they were, I don't think they're going to like something that fast hitting them. I mean, a 9mm typically goes between 950 to 1,100 feet per second, usually right around there. That's moving 3 times faster than it is out of a 9mm. And that's also often because you have barrel length. I mean, here we're talking about a 4-inch barrel versus a 16-inch barrel. Longer the barrel, the more muzzle velocity you're going to get. And so that sort of makes sense when you think about it, because, well, it doesn't necessarily equal out, but it makes sense. Anyway, you guys have a good night. Later.